All right, welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on the really specialized world of the uPVC locksmith. We're going to dive into the unique toolkit they need to handle the doors and windows that, let's face it, are in pretty much every modern home.
You know the ones. You probably have one yourself. They look tough, they feel solid, and we're always told how secure they are. But have you ever actually stopped to think about what it takes to fix one when something goes wrong? And this is where it gets really interesting. The very thing that makes uPVC so strong is also its biggest weakness. It's built to last, for sure, but it's also surprisingly easy to damage. You can't just use brute force. It takes surgical precision, a ton of expertise, and a very, very specific set of tools.
So let's start right there with the material itself. What makes working with UPVC so different from, say, good old-fashioned wood or metal? Well, it all comes down to its unique properties.
So what even is uPVC? It stands for unplasticized polyvinyl chloride. And yeah, it's a fantastic building material, no doubt. But the single most important word in that whole description is care. Because during a repair, one wrong move, one slip can mean permanent scratches or even cracking the entire frame.
Let's really break that down. With a wooden door, you can often use a little bit of muscle, right? The material is pretty forgiving. But with uPVC, it is all about precision and finesse. The goal isn't to overpower the door, it's to carefully work with the complex mechanisms hiding inside. Your standard toolbox just isn't going to cut it here.
Okay, so if your regular toolkit is out, where does a professional uPVC locksmith even begin? Let's look at the absolute foundation of their kit and see how it all builds from there.
You know, just like any skilled trade, it all starts with the basics. But when you're working with uPVC, even these fundamental tools have to be the right type and the right quality for the job. And what's so cool here is the level of detail. It's not just any screwdriver set. You absolutely need Torx heads for the modern locks. It's not just any old hacksaw. You need one with a super fine-tooth blade so you can tut a metal bolt without melting or shredding the plastic all around it. Every single tool is chosen for precision.
Okay, we've got the foundation. Now we get into the really specialized gear. This is where the locksmith basically becomes a detective, using tools to find problems that are completely hidden from sight.
I mean, think about it. The door won't lock or the window feels stiff, but from the outside, it looks perfectly fine. The real problem is buried deep inside the mechanism, or maybe the frame is off by a millimeter. So how on earth do you find that without tearing the whole thing apart? Well, you use these. A spirit level can spot a tiny misalignment that's causing huge problems. Digital calipers measure a part down to the fraction of a millimeter to make sure the replacement is an exact match. And a borescope? That's basically a tiny camera on a flexible wire that lets a locksmith see right into the guts of the door. It's amazing stuff.
So the detective work is done. The culprit, maybe a jammed bolt or a misaligned hinge, has been found. But finding the problem is only half the battle, right? Now it's time to actually fix it, and that requires a whole other set of specialized tools.
Just look at this process. Instead of grabbing a crowbar that'll destroy the frame, a locksmith uses an inflatable wedge to create a gentle, controlled gap. Instead of drilling out a lock and making a mess, they use a special cylinder extractor to pull it out cleanly. The whole point is that every single tool is designed to solve one problem without creating 5 new ones. Of course, not everything can be done by hand. Power tools bring incredible speed and efficiency to a job. But in the world of uPVC, they are a true double-edged sword, and it takes a ton of skill to use them right. And listen, there's no denying it. Power tools make things so much faster. For drilling new holes, getting out stubborn old screws, or making really precise cuts, they're invaluable for getting the job done on time. But here it is, the critical warning, and this comes directly from our source material. Power tools mean force, and force is the absolute enemy of uPVC. One little slip, a second of too much pressure, and you can strip a screw, crack the frame, or literally melt the plastic. And that's why, for a pro, it's all about control. A cordless drill is always on a low-speed, high-torque setting to avoid stripping anything. An impact driver is used with extreme care. Even a heat gun has to be kept moving constantly on a low setting so it doesn't scorch the material. It's all about harnessing that power with absolute precision. Okay, so a great locksmith doesn't just fix what's broken, they prevent future problems. This last part is all about going on the offensive, transforming a standard uPVC door from just a barrier into a genuine fortress with some advanced tools and tech.
So what kinds of upgrades are we talking about? Well, a locksmith can install reinforced handles that won't just snap off. They can strengthen the door frame itself, even put in security glazing. But the single biggest, most important upgrade for a uPVC door is that one at the top, the anti-snap cylinder. So how does that work? It's actually pretty brilliant. The cylinder is designed with a deliberate, sacrificial weak point on the outside, so if a burglar tries to use force to snap the lock, it breaks cleanly at that point, but the core locking mechanism stays totally intact and protected deep inside the door. The door stays locked. It's such a simple idea that completely shuts down a really common way of breaking in. So, there you have it. We've gone from the most basic hand tools for simple repairs to the detective kits that find those hidden problems, all the way to the security installations that can turn a regular door into a real fortress. It just goes to show you that being a uPVC locksmith is about so much more than just keys and locks. It's a real blend of precision, power, and protection.
And that really brings us to our final thought for you. After seeing all the specialized tools and techniques, from those tiny adjustments all the way up to high security upgrades, it kind of makes you think about your own home's security in a completely new light, doesn't it? Thanks so much for joining me.